What is up? It is that time of the podcast. We're talking NFL draft, one of my favorite times of the year. He's been what do we call you, social media friend?
Yeah.
Social media friend for the last year and a half, 2 years. Sterling, aka Silver Star Sports. How you doing, my man?
I'm doing awesome, man. I'm excited to have talk football with you. I know I haven't really been putting out draft content and I haven't really seen your opinion, so I'm excited to talk back and forth and see where your head's at.
Just so everyone could take it in, we're doing live right now on YouTube and Twitch. This will be on my podcast. And Sterling is rocking the old school Chargers LP jersey. I mean, I can go dust off my Calvin Johnson or my Carlos Rogers one. I mean, for my Lions, but I should address the part. So that's my bad.
I gotta say, this is one of the top 5 jerseys of all time. I feel like this powder blue.
Yeah. So I'm in my office area right now. I will give you $100 cash. I'm looking at my 3 autographed jerseys that I have framed. If you can guess what they are.
You told me this too, but I forgot.
I got 3 of them, dude.
Mitchell Trubisky.
No. I got
Stafford.
Stafford is one of them. Yes.
Okay. Like recently played or like how long ago?
The other 2 are playing in the NFL. One's a quarterback. One is a meaty defensive lineman.
Damn, I'm not gonna get it.
Vita Vera.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah, I do remember you saying that now.
From the Bucks, and the new one to the addition, my new favorite starting quarterback in the NFL, long neck, Davis Mills.
How'd you get a Davis Mills signed jersey?
Dude, you know what? One of my friends, she lives in Houston. She was doing something for the Texans. She knows how much I like Davis Mills, and she got it for me. She came through. So
that's clutch. That's a good connection.
Props to her. So we're gonna dive into this NFL draft. I'm gonna pull up this draft simulator on PFF. We're just gonna dive into it. So let's enter the draft. We're going to be drafting for every team. We're only going to be doing the first round. So on the clock are the Jacksonville Jaguars. They're interesting to me because I feel like they tagged Cam Robinson. They brought in the offensive guard from the Commanders, which is going to take forever for me to call him that. They signed some wide receivers. I wouldn't say top-notch wide receivers. I feel pass rusher is the only area that they really didn't address, and that's the way they're going to go here. What do you think?
Yeah, it certainly seems like Aiden Hutchinson or Trayvon Walker is going to be the pick right here. Before we get too into it, it's a super interesting draft because last year around this time, Trevor Lawrence's odds to go number 1 were like negative 3,500. Whereas I looked on DraftKings today and Aiden Hutchinson was only negative 200 to be the number 1 overall pick. So it's super unpredictable draft. But based on the Jaguars' moves, it certainly seems like Hutchinson's going to go number 1 or Trayvon Walker, one of them.
And you made a good point. I really feel like this draft class, besides the wide receiver position, is kind of lacking.
Yeah.
I kind of feel I don't feel as high as it. I have them taking Hutchinson here.
Yeah, agreed.
Oh, let's go Hutch right here. We'll go Hutch to the Jags. They get that pass rusher. Next, it is my Detroit Lions. And my note right here for the Lions is I don't know what they're going to do, but they're going to mess it up.
So much faith.
They obviously need a quarterback. The linebacker position is a weakness. They need help in the secondary, and they need some pass rushers. And we've seen bringing in a pass rusher like a Bosa or Young, what can do for a defense. My only thing is I don't know if they're going to go Weaver. I don't know if they're going to go the kid from Oregon, who's you have a lot of stuff saying he doesn't fit the culture the Lions are trying to create. I just hope they don't draft Malik Willis there just because I'm not that high in him, and I think they can get a quarterback later. What do you think they do here?
Knowing Dan Campbell, I think he's going to want somebody that can the line play is super important to him, so he's definitely going to draft an edge rusher, I feel like, here. Also, I don't think the Lions situation is good for a young quarterback to come into. I say keep building up that roster and then draft a quarterback next year. Or you have that pick at the back end of the first round to grab a quarterback.
So we both agree pass rusher. So I guess that's what are we going to do? Are we going to go the kid from Oregon? Are we going to go Weaver? What say you?
What do you think's more likely to happen? You think they take Trayvon or Thibodeau?
I think they go. I think they go Walker.
Okay.
I think they go Walker just because of all the reports coming out
Mm-hmm.
saying the kid from Oregon, they don't see bad fit. I'll be honest, if they could move back here to pick 5 and then pick up like an extra third, maybe a second, I would love that. But realistically, I don't think that's going to happen. I think they're going to use this pick. My worry with Walker is the sample size is really small. You know what I mean? It's not like it's been that consistent. Yeah, I say they're going to draft Walker. I don't think they're going to go with the kid from Oregon.
Yeah, let's go Walker here. I will say it's a super interesting thing with him because I feel like before the combine, he was firmly a second round guy, and then his testing numbers just shot him up. So I'm a little hesitant to draft him if I had a top 5 pick, but I see the upside. So.
All right, so we'll go there. Now, Davis Mills is going to lead him to the promised land this year. And I love how it says every positional needs, it says everything. You know what I mean? It says everything here at PFF. This is what I think. I think that to build a football team, you need to build from the inside out. You have to go with line play here. Mm-hmm. I know the what's his name? Tusil, the left tackle, they re-upped. But let's face it, that offensive line wasn't that good. Right now, you're going to be starting Davis Mills. You need to give him protection. I think they go offensive line. I actually have him projected to take Neal. What do you think?
I've seen a lot on them liking Ekwonu too. I feel like it's going to be a tackle here. I just don't know which one. We can go either.
What do you think?
Let's go Neal.
Okay. So we're going to go Neal. Boom. 4th round. Now, this is where it gets interesting. There's a lot of the Jets need a wide receiver 1 for their young quarterback. There's rumors going around Debo wants out. AJ Brown wants a new contract, or he wants out. Same thing with Claire McLaurin. Do you think the Jets here could make a move for one of those wide receivers? Because they're rumored to be in the Tyreek Hill.
It's certainly funny you say that because recently I just placed a bet on them to draft Garrett Wilson with this number 4 pick. Okay. I think he's a long shot for it, but I think they like him and they know that they need to get someone for Zach Wilson. So I wouldn't be surprised if they take a wide receiver here.
Oh, I see. Okay, because they have another pick coming up.
They have 4 and 10.
4 and 10. That's funny because I think I have them taking a wide receiver at 10.
Okay, we can go.
Oh, no. We'll go. What do you have, Wilson?
Yeah.
All right, so we will go Garrett Wilson going to the Jets at pick number 4. Boom. Now we're going to go to the Giants. Now, this is what I think for the Giants. Their O-line was awful. Andrew Thomas made great strides going forward. I think they look to build that offensive line and get the trenches set. Just because you look at it, their defense wasn't that bad last year for the most part. It was their offense that struggles. Yes, I know Barkley was hurt. Yes, I know Jones was hurt. But I feel if they add an offensive lineman, they'll be building in the right direction. What say you?
Yeah, as a Giants fan, even though I'm wearing a Chargers jersey, I feel pretty good about this draft. I feel like they'll get 2 quality players in the first 7 picks. They definitely need to address the O-line situation. So if that's one of the tackles between Ekwonu, Neal, or Cross that falls in the draft, I think they're in a great position to take one of them. And then number 7, they can address something on the defensive side of the ball. Kayvon Thibodeau, Ahmad Gardner, Derek Stingley, one of them if they're still there. So I think the Giants are in a great spot. Based on how we have the board right now, I'd say we take.
You say Cross. You say we go tackle.
Yeah, let's go Ekwonu here.
All right, so let's go Ekwonu. Boom. So now we go to the Panthers. Now this is my thing with the Panthers. I know there's been a million rumors that they're going to draft Malik Willis. I don't know what your scouting report is on Malik Willis, but the stuff when I've watched him play, he's too predictable. When he goes to throw, he pats it. You know what I mean? And you can't do that at this level because that's a top. That habit he's been doing forever. He also couldn't get in the starting lineup at Auburn and had to transfer to Liberty. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of red flags with this kid with me. And I don't mean to be mean, but that's just the reality of the situation. I think this quarterback class compared to last year's and compared to the years coming up, I think it's insanely weak. So with that being said, I would like to see the Panthers go offensive line here.
I couldn't agree with you more. Malik Willis, I understand the upside. He's got the arm talent. He's got the athleticism. But when you watch his tape, there's so many times where I'd see him put his head down and run instead of looking downfield, and he'd have like an open man running open. And he's not going to be able to scramble around just like that in the NFL and evade sacks. So there's a lot of flaws in his game. I wouldn't take him with a top 10 pick. But who knows? The Panthers might be desperate. Matt Rule might be trying to save his job and like arguing for a quarterback. But yeah, I'd love to see the Panthers take an offensive line because that offensive line is terrible right now. You want to go cross here?
Let's go cross. Let's go cross right now. So we're gonna go cross going to your New York Giants, man. Next one, we're back. Oh, sorry, cross to the Panthers. Now we're to your Giants. That's my fault. I got a little excited. Man. Got a little excited. Now, is this where we see them go after a pass rusher? Because if they get that pass rusher with that secondary, I think we got something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I certainly think they go pass rusher here. I like Azeez Ojulari, but I don't think he's a number one guy. So they definitely got to bring in a guy who has the potential to be a number one. And Kayvon Thibodeau is going to slide. It certainly looks like that. So let's go Thibodeau here.
Okay. All right. So let's go Tibbs. Now we're to an interesting pick. We're to the Falcons. Now they lost Gage. Gage went to Tampa Bay. They lost Ridley for the gambling stuff. They need someone in my eyes to go with Kyle Pitts. I know they need offensive line help. I know Mariota is not the long-term answer. I know they need help on the D-line and help in the secondary, but I really feel like they need to get a wide receiver, and it being such a copycat league, we saw all these wide receivers do well. Jamar Chase, Jefferson 2 years ago that were drafted in the first round. I think they go wide receiver here.
Yeah, if you look at the names in their wide receiver room, it's one of the worst wide receiver rooms I've ever seen in the history of the NFL. So I definitely think they look at receiver here. I just hope for Falcons fans' sake they don't think about Malik Willis or Kenny Pickett, because a young quarterback in that situation, not ideal. Not ideal. So let's get them some weapons before you take a quarterback maybe next year.
No, it's going to be interesting. I'm looking at my stuff right now. I have Drake London because I had Willis as my top rated wide receiver. I have London as my number 2 wide receiver. Do you think they go London here, or do you think they go Williams, Burks, Overlay? Do you think they go in a different direction?
I have them either taking Williams or London. I definitely think they take a receiver. But London's your number 2 on the board, so let's go London.
Because I kind of feel like Williams did get hurt, so that may kind of drop.
Yeah.
We'll go Drake London. Now we're to the Seattle Seahawks, who made an interesting trade, trading Russell Wilson. You and I haven't had a chance to talk. What do you think about that move?
I say tear it all down. I know it feels like the Seahawks are going to do the Seahawk thing and try to remain competitive. But in that division, with that roster, I don't expect them to win too many games, especially Pete Carroll. It looks like the game's starting to pass him by. And without elite quarterback play, I don't see them doing anything far or going anywhere far.
Yeah. Now, they're going to have to be facing Stafford twice, Kyle Murray twice, whoever's starting for the 49ers twice. That's a pretty good quarterback division. to me, it makes sense. You start rebuilding the secondary. The two top DBs are sitting still on the board with Stingley. God, I can't talk it all day. Or Gardner. I have Gardner rated as my number one. Who's your number one
Yeah,
cornerback?
Gardner's my number one as well. So let's go Gardner here.
All right, so we're gonna go Gardner here. Now we're back to the Jets. Now we had the Jets taking Wilson in the first round, getting Zach Wilson, their quarterback, a number one target. Where do you think they go here? Do you think they look to take a cornerback because Derek's still on the board here? I mean, we got Hamilton still on the board here. Or do you think they look? I think this linebacker core, I think it's a little too early to draft a linebacker.
I'm really high on Devin Lloyd, but it just seems like he's not going to go in the top 10. So I definitely think the Jets should address corner because they were thinking about it at 4. They definitely would think about it at 10. Stingley's still on the board, so let's go Stingley here.
Now I like the football team. I like that name. And now they're like the freaking Commanders. Like,
yeah, I don't know. You went through a year to change it to the Commanders. It was like, that's it. Yeah, I don't know.
So I don't know what they're gonna do here. They tried to trade for any quarterback they could. The best they could do was Carson Wentz. The O-line, you need a solid O-line to protect Wentz. But I really feel like, we have the top 3 tackles off the board. We can't really take a tackle here at this position here because if you're going to take offensive line, you can move back a little bit. Scary Terry wants a new contract. I feel that they do need to get him a running mate and maybe to take Williams here from Alabama. I agree with you 100%. I like the kid from Utah, Levy. But again, I feel 11's a little too early to take him, and you can get him a little later. What do you think they'll do here?
It certainly seems like the Commander fans want a wide receiver. I've seen that in like a lot of their mock drafts and team discussions that they're really clamoring for a wide receiver. I think Lloyd would fit in perfectly with that defense, but yeah, it seems like they're certainly leaning towards receivers. So you want to go Jameson Williams here?
Yeah, let's go Williams here. Now, this all hinges on their ability to re-sign Scary Terry. That way they have a good 1-2 combo and give Wentz some weapons. And I don't think they're going to draft a quarterback because we saw what a mental midget Wentz is. If you have someone behind him, you know what I mean? Like mentally, the guy's soft. So we're taking Williams here. Next, we got the Minnesota Vikings. I don't know. Like, to me, the secondary is a nightmare. Just a complete nightmare. Zimmer's not there anymore. You have a new coach, new system. Hamilton was high on everyone's board because of his 40 time and him not just being like an athletic stud in anything. He's fallen down the board. This was a guy that was rumored could be going the top 3. He's sitting at an 8. Vikings secondary is a nightmare. Do you think they look to go there, or do you think they look to draft to get the edge rusher from Purdue?
Just like in positional value. In a lot of my mock drafts, I've had them taking corner Trent McDuffie out of Washington. But I'm down to experiment with something else. Edge rusher is a more important position than safety, so we could definitely have them taking George Karlaftis here.
Okay, so let's have them take Karlaftis here because you know what you're gonna need because you got Fields who's an electric, you got Rodgers, you got Jared Goff who's just a stud. So you got to be able to get to the quarterback. So yeah, let's have him take old Georgie here. Get that edge rusher. Now we're back to the Texans. They hired Lovie Smith, and I'll say this about Lovie Smith. This guy is a good leader, and he's able to make minimal talent overachieve. He runs that cover 2 system. We got Hamilton. We got McDuffie sitting on the board. The secondary is obviously a need. Do you think they take one of those guys, or do you think they look to go in a different position?
I think since their needs are practically every position, they kind of just take the best player available, whoever that is on their boards. considering that they also lost one of their best players on defense, Justin Reed, as he went to the Chiefs in free agency. I think they can replace him with Kyle Hamilton.
All right, so we're gonna go Hamilton here. Boy, that's a fall because he was projected to be a top 3 pick, and now we have him going 13.
What's your thoughts on Kyle Hamilton? Like, I know he fell because of the 40 time, but in your opinion, is he like a top 5 player in this class? Is he like a bit overrated? Like, what's your thoughts on him?
I think a lot of these players, it's all going to depend on scheme and system and coaching. I mean, if you were to go to, like, hypothetically, if you were to fall to 14 to Baltimore, oh my God, I think that's a home run right there.
Yeah, I personally think the discussion around Kyle Hamilton, the lack of blue chip talent in this class made people overrate him a little bit in the start of the draft process. And now people are starting to come around that he's still a really good safety, but he's not this elite generational prospect.
Oh, there's no way. I agree with you 100% there. I think it just depends. Like him, it depends on coaching and where he ends up. But I mean, I think, how can I say this? I don't think he can be like you said, I don't think he can be like a year in, year out, what's the word?
General Pro Bowler.
Yeah. But I mean, I think he could be like a Diggs, Quaytron, like a Diggs, the guy that used to play for the Lions, the guy that used to play. I think that's realistic for him. Next we're going to Ravens. Ravens were a nightmare last year. I mean, Peters, the running back, his name, Dobbins, they're just a walking ACL injury, which was awful. I mean, they got so many injuries, but they're still in position for a playoffs. Obviously, D-line, secondary are some needs. McDuffie is sitting right there. Do we take him at 14?
Yeah, I actually love the McDuffie kid. I feel like he's got a very, very high floor. I feel like if he was just a couple inches taller, people would be talking about him for a top 10 pick with ease. So, yeah, I think he can fit in super well. Baltimore has a good job developing corners. Let's go Trent McDuffie.
So we're going to go Trent McDuffie here.
Yeah. And another note I'll add is I think people are super low on the Ravens right now because of how last year ended. But I think now is a good time. You can play some Super Bowl futures on the Ravens as they get people back healthy. People are thinking about the Cincinnati Bengals who went to the Super Bowl. Deshaun Watson went to the Cleveland Browns. I think you can get them at a really good price right now.
Already there, my friend. Already locked them in at 21-1 right after the Super Bowl, dude. Great minds think alike, man. Already there. But I agree with you 100%. Like, in terms of betting wise, I think they offer great value, and I think the Bengals not to make the playoffs and the Bengals under win total make an insane amount of sense. Here we're at the Eagles. Now, here's the interesting thing about the Eagles. They always mess this up. And they made a real interesting trade with the Saints. Like, I really don't know what the Saints were thinking. We'll get to the Saints next. Eagles have some issues in the secondary and the linebacker. Our boy Lloyd is right here. Do you think this is where they take him?
Yeah, I think they would definitely consider McDuffie if he were to fall one pick later because the Eagles always need secondary help. But in this case, Hamilton and McDuffie are off the board. I think it's slightly too rich to take Andrew Booth right now. So I think they go Devin Lloyd, and they'll see what's available with that next pick.
All right, so we're going to go Lloyd right here. Now we got the Saints. Now, as I mentioned, the Saints made that really,
head scratching.
That doesn't make sense to me. You know what I mean? Like, I don't understand that trade at all. But it makes me think that they have a plan. I just don't know what the hell that plan is.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure it out. At first, I thought it was like to trade up for a quarterback, but then 16, we know with the NFL, you can't wait for your quarterback at like 16. So it's not for that. If it's for a tackle, the top 3 will be gone. Maybe they love Raymond or Penning, but personally, I'm not too high on them with pick 16. So I don't know what their master plan is, but they know better than us. So who knows what they do here.
Now, do they? Because Armstead's gone, right? Armstead's out. Do they take a quarterback here? Do you think they take a quarterback?
Yeah, my 3 options for them are quarterback. I think Kenny Pickett might be in play here. I think wide receiver, especially because we don't know Michael Thomas's situation, that they might consider that. Or like I said, the two tackles with Penning or Bernard Raymond from Central Michigan. So one of those routes, if you want to go, you decide.
So I have little birdies like you and I. Like what you and I are going to do next year is you and I are going to go to Indianapolis for the combine. But what we do is we don't go to the combine. There's I think it's like Ellie's Steakhouse. We go to Ellie's Steakhouse. We post up at the bar, and then when all the scouts come in, we BS with them, and that's when we find the juice. That's when we find it.
Yeah.
Now, I don't get me wrong. I like the kid from CMU. I like him a lot.
Mm-hmm.
He's got some tendonitis in the knee issues, and I think he's gonna fall because of that. I don't know. This is a tough pick. I really don't know what they're gonna do. I mean, Willis is right there. Do you think they take Willis? Who do you have bet higher, Willis or Pickett?
I personally have Pickett higher, but actually, my quarterback rankings are a little like different from everyone else's. I have Pickett as 3 and Willis as 4, actually. But I know those are like the consensus top 2 QBs for most people. The thing with Pickett that I noticed a lot watching him is he would just bail from clean pockets like all the time. There'd be no pressure on him, and he'd just be rolling out all the time. And it was just like, all right, that's not going to work at the next level. That's not how it works.
Here are my quarterback rankings, and you know me, I do some crazy stuff in my quarterback rankings.
Yeah,
I have Desmond Ridder 1.
Really, Ridder's 6 for me.
I have Ridder 1, Willis 2, Matt Crowell 3, Sam Howell 4, Kenny Pickett 5. Okay. And this is my thing with Pickett. He was in high school for 5 years. He was in college for 5 years. You know what I mean? And we saw in the USFL, if you have small hands, the ball's just easy to get batted down with what was happened with Michigan Panthers starting quarterback Shea Patterson. Mm-hmm. I think Pickett has bust written all over him. That's just me.
I think if Pickett is to succeed in the NFL, I'd feel a lot better drafting him if I was a team that played like indoor and didn't have to deal with severe weather conditions like New Orleans. Going back to quarterback rankings, I have an unheard of quarterback number 1, actually. I think Carson Strong, when I watched out of Nevada, when I watched him, he was the best quarterback, or the quarterback that had the best tape for me. He is dealing with knee issues, so he's going to be drafted in like the 3rd, 4th round. But when you watch how he plays, he really had some great arm talent, like Justin Herbert-esque. And I think he put that Nevada team on his back multiple times. But I understand his knee won't.
I have him at 6, and I agree with you 100%. I have him at 6, and my number 1 negative is knee. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? That's all I wrote, knee. You mean this wide receiver class is deep? You know, we got Burks and Olave sitting right there. We don't know what's going to go on with Michael Thomas.
Yeah, I say we either go Olave here or Raymond.
Your pick, man.
I'm hearing that the Saints want to move up. They moved up to get one of the tackles, Penning or Raymond. So let's just go Raymond here.
All right, cool. Now we're to the Chargers. Now, Chargers they traded for Mac. Now they have a dynamic pass rusher if both of them can stay healthy in Mac and Bosa. But they just need to be able to stop the run, or they need to add a tackle on the other side. What do you think they do here?
I think that run defense has just been so poor year after year. I think the free agent signing they had was Sebastian Joseph Day coming over from the Rams. He worked with Staley back over there when Staley was a coach over there. I think he's going to help a lot, but I still think they need more. So I think they go one of the Georgia boys, Devontae Wyatt or Jordan Davis.
I had Davis above Wyatt.
Yeah, I do too. So let's go Davis.
All right, let's go Davis here. Now we're back to Philly. Okay. We had Philly taking Lloyd, the linebacker, at 15. Now they're at 18. This is another tough one. Like, I don't think they need a wide receiver here. Um, you know, secondary, they need someone to go with Slay. But do you really think there's going to be 4 cornerbacks? Do you think they're going to go after? I have Andrew Booth as my next cornerback.
Yeah, Andrew Booth's my next corner. I would feel more comfortable taking him in the 20s range
Yeah.
than 18. But corner is such an important position in the NFL that I wouldn't be surprised if they pull the trigger a bit too early.
All right, so let's go Booth here, right here.
So that brings us back to the Saints.
That brings us back to the Saints. And so now this is probably where they'll draft the wide receiver. Who do you have here?
My number 2 wide receiver is actually Traylon Burks. But I've heard that they like the Olave kid. So.
See, I have Burks 4, Olave 5. You and I both like Burks more. Let's go Burks here.
Okay.
Now we're to the Steelers. Now this is, for me, I feel that Trubisky's a good stopgap.
Mm-hmm.
I feel that if you draft a quarterback here, you'll be able to get a better quarterback in next year's draft class. Because like I've said, I'm not high on any one of these quarterbacks.
Mm-hmm.
But with what the Steelers did last year, drafting Najee Harris in the first round, where there is plenty of good offensive line tackle help, makes me think they're going to mess this up and take a quarterback. In the one I did over the weekend, I actually had him taking Malik Willis here.
Yeah, although I'm not super high on Malik Willis, I think this is one of the few spots he can go and have like some success, because I think the Steelers recognize that he's not ready to play right away, and I think he can sit behind Trubisky for a year or two, develop, and then I think the Steelers never pick early. I mean, they continually have a winning record somehow, some way. So I don't think they're going to be have like a high draft pick next year to be able to take Bryce Young or CJ Stroud. So I think here's where they get their quarterback. He can sit and develop, and yeah, he'll be ready in a couple years.
Nice. So let's take Willis right here. Now we're to the Patriots. And this is such a Patriots thing. Just sitting back at 21, chilling out, and you have Dean fall to you. That will obviously draft your linebacker needs. I have him ranked 2 in my linebacker rankings. I really don't think they'll go wide receiver here. I mean, do you think they'll go after Overlay?
I kind of hope they don't draft a wide receiver, just because Belichick's eye for evaluating wide receiver talent has been lacking. They definitely need help in that linebacker room. So I think Dean's a good pick here.
Or do you think they go Jermaine Johnson, the edge rusher for Florida State?
That is tempting. Honestly, with the linebacker class, I could see them taking like Leo Chanel in like the second round. So maybe, I don't know. We can go either way there. Olave, or
I feel like you need to be able to get to the quarterback in the NFL, especially you look at the East. You have Josh Allen, who probably won a quarterback of the NFL. I'm not the biggest Tua guy, but they got him some weapons. So if he's going to succeed, now's the time. Mm-hmm. You have Wilson. They got him some weapons. He looked better than anticipated. So maybe they do go after edge rusher here.
Okay. Right. You want to go Jermaine Johnson? I'm down with
Johnson here. I think now we're to the Packers. This is where I have Chris Overlay going off the board, just because there's no one. They have absolutely no one, and there's no way they're going to become just a ground and pound team, with AJ Dillon and Aaron Jones. Overlay here makes all the sense in the world to me.
Yeah, it definitely makes all the sense for them to draft a wide receiver, whichever one's available there. Do you think the Packers actually do it just because they're so reluctant for whatever reason to draft the wide receiver position?
I'll be honest, like they need something. I think they know that this window, this is it. Like basically after this year, if they don't win it this year, they're done.
Yeah.
And you have to think of it like this. If I were to tell you that defense in that game against the 49ers wasn't going to allow an offensive touchdown, was going to hold both running backs for the 49ers under 4 yards a carry, you told me they're going to win like 35-3.
Yeah.
So I think they need a weapon there because you can't roll out who is MVS as your number one.
Yeah, MVS, so, Amari Rodgers. Yeah, no.
I think they have to go overlay here. Now we're to the Cardinals. This is interesting for me, just because we don't know what's going to go on with Kyler Murray. That's a big elephant in the room.
Yeah, the whole dialogue with Kyler this offseason has been very weird.
Like really weird. Like the whole thing, like stuff coming out saying like he's disruptive in the locker room. I don't know. I'm just it's really disrupting hearing what's coming out. Cornerback is always a good one, but again, like are they gonna go I don't envision 5 cornerbacks being taken in the first round. I mean, the kid from Elam is my next cornerback on my board. I don't envision that. We got Wyatt sitting right there. You need to be able to control the trenches. I think Wyatt added to that defensive front could be a good play.
I definitely I'm in the same boat as you. I definitely think this Cardinals team for years has been a very finesse heavy team, and they've lacked that physicality in the trenches. So I definitely think they go either O-line or D-line here. I know we still got Tyler Linderbaum, Zion Johnson, Devontae Wyatt on the defensive end of the ball. One thing I did see in a different podcast I listened to is Zion Johnson. He's like a smaller guard
from Boston.
Would be good for Kyler Murray to like see over him in pass protection.
So do you want to go offensive line here then? And Johnson, the kid from Boston College? That was the guy. You want to go Zion?
Sure, let's go Zion here.
Now we're to the Cowboys. This is my 2 cents on the Cowboys, and I'm interested to hear your 2 cents. They overachieved immensely last year on the defensive end. Diggs got a lot of bounces to go his way with the interceptions. I don't think CD can be a number 1 wide receiver. You look at his splits when Gallup wasn't there, he struggled. Not Gallup, excuse me, Amari Cooper. I'm really down on this team. And then you have Zeke, who's not the Zeke of old. They need offensive line help because that offensive line take a huge step back. I think they'll go offensive line here. In mine, it's funny. This is where I had Zion Johnson going in mine. I had Zion going here.
Yeah, I feel like Linderbaum and Zion are going to go like 23 and 24. I feel like it makes sense for either team. So, yeah, they can go Linderbaum here or Wyatt because that defensive tackle group's pretty bad. I'm fine with either, honestly. Whichever way you go.
What about the kid Penny from...
Oh, Trevor Penny?
Yeah. I mean, do you think they go there? Do you think they go Linderbaum? Because I mean, they just drafted a center last year.
True.
You know?
Yeah, we could go Penny. I feel like he will go first round. Personally, I wouldn't take him first round, but he will go.
I wouldn't take him first round either, but I think that's kind of the issue. That, you know what I mean? I think that's what they need. Now I have an interesting pick here. I'm interested. Okay. I have an interesting out of the box pick here. I think that the Bills, I understand, it has defensive line. I think you need help in the secondary here. I think they go Hill from Michigan.
I love that pick. I actually love that pick. I feel like those safeties getting old. I'm not really sure of their contract situation, but I know it's got to be coming up soon. They're probably looking for someone to replace him. So yeah, Daxton Hill, he's super versatile. He's one of the top 15 players in this class for me.
So, all right. So good to see we're on the same board here. So let's have him take Hill. I mean, that was really, I don't know, like them not being able to get a stop. Now, I know the overtime rules changed. This was my proposal for overtime in the playoff. The home team gets the ball first.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Like if it's in the playoffs, you should be rewarding a home team for having, you know what I mean, for getting there. Have them get the ball first as the reward for having the better record. To me,
Are
that
you still saying like if they score a touchdown, it's over, or like
yeah, like the whole thing, like if they kick a field goal, the visiting team gets a chance, but they score a touchdown, it's just game over. I think that makes most sense because then you value home field advantage. But then also the game toward the end, it will be played a little differently. Like if I'm the visiting team and I know I don't get the ball back, the other team gets the ball back, it's going to lead for me going for two more, maybe. You know, it'll lead to different outcomes, I feel, at the end of the game. A little bit more sense of urgency, if you will.
okay, yeah, I think that's a pretty solid idea. I like that.
Now we're to the Titans. The elephant in the room with the Titans is this. Are they going to trade AJ Brown? What are they going to do with AJ Brown? AJ's not coming there right now because of the contract, not really contract dispute, but he just wants to get paid, and rightfully so. They do need an O-line help. Their O-line, they did lose some pieces. The O-line's not going to be as good as it was last year. And they also need an edge rusher. This is an interesting pick. What do you think they do here?
There's a lot of options they can go here. Have we taken Jermaine Johnson in this mock draft? I can't remember.
Yeah, we had the Patriots.
Okay. This offseason has been wild with wide receivers. Devontae Adams, Tyreek Hill, Deebo Samuel now AJ Brown. Like a lot of disgruntled wide receivers around the league. I think if Treylon Burks was on the board, he would fit in that AJ Brown mold perfectly. I have seen other mocks that they take a quarterback to start preparing for the future post Tannehill era, but then they also need help on the.
I don't know if I take a quarterback.
Yeah,
I get it. I don't know if I take one here.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Linderbaum's not a bad pick.
I had them taking David Ojabo from Michigan, the edge rusher, because I do feel they need to get to the quarterback here.
I do like that because the Titans, their past like 2 or 3 drafts, they've taken a player that's gotten injured. He's kind of like redshirted a year. So, yeah, that would just continue with the trend.
I mean, do you want to take Ojabo or do you think we should go offensive line here?
Ojabo's good.
All right. So, now we're to the Bucs. Now, this is my thinking. I think they need to get Wyatt. Sue may not be coming back. My boy Vita is always hurt. But they did lose an offensive lineman here. Do you think they go offensive line? Do you think they go defensive line?
I could really go either way. Both's a need. I think if they were in this scenario, they'd be pumping their fists because they get a good player regardless. Let's go Devontae Wyatt, though.
Okay. Now we're back to the Packers. Now, in mine, this is where I had the kid from Bernard from CMU falling to. This is where I had him going. They obviously need offensive line help. I don't feel, though, that Linderbaum, that they need help at the center position, though.
Mm-hmm.
What offensive lineman do you feel? I mean, it's just one of those things. Like, I feel there's no value right now on the offensive line board.
I actually like Linderbaum here. Remind me who's their center again?
Oh my God, let me look.
Because I know they let go of Lindsley last year because he went to the Chargers, but I don't know who they played last year at center offhand.
I'm pulling it up right now. Joshua Myers.
Okay.
I mean, that makes sense. I mean, that's not a world beater. I mean, he's serviceable. I feel here though this is a good pick. So let's go Linderbaum here.
Okay. I think Linderbaum, according to my grades, he's a top 12 player I think I had in the class. I think he's like this year's Creed Humphrey. That's going to
I,
fall just because of positional value. But
yeah, I have exactly. I have him as a top 10.
Yeah.
He's top 10 on my player rankings. But again, it's a center position. It's not sexy. Then
Yeah.
I think that's why he's going to fall to the back end. Now we're to the Kansas City Chiefs. Do they replace Tyreek Hill? Do they try to get some D-line help? Do they help in the cornerback position? I actually, and on mine, I had him taking Klein, the safety.
Okay.
Like, where do you think they go here?
I think they're definitely going to address the secondary with one of these two picks. In a lot of my mocks that I've done, I've had them taking Kyrie Elam. I haven't really thought about them taking a safety, but just because I got Justin Reed to replace Tyrann Mathieu. But yeah, I don't think they replace Tyreek Hill. I don't think there's any value here right now to take one of the wide receivers. So I think they look, especially with how deep this wide receiver class is, they can maybe look at Calvin Austin in the second round.
So do you want to take the kid from Florida?
Yeah, let's take the kid from Florida, and then they're back up on the clock. So
Okay, did I say his name right?
yeah.
Okay, dude, I can't pronounce names worth shit. I like that. That's my one downfall in my life. Now they're back on the clock again. What do you think they do here? Do you think I'm going to type in a player's name? Oh my God, where is he? Did we already take him?
Dotson? Jahan Dotson? No, that's exactly what I was thinking there. So when you look at their wide receiver skill set, I think Dotson would fit in perfectly with
I think it makes a perfect sense. I mean, now granted, we're recording this on the 21st. This is, we're a week out for the podcast, for the draft. We wanted to get this out early, put on the podcast, do it live on Twitch and YouTube. I think, if they don't make a trade, I think Dotson fits in great.
Yeah.
Now we're to the Bengals. Now this is where I had the kid from Iowa going.
Yeah, that would be a dream fit for them.
This makes the most sense right here. Obviously, I feel they're idiotic if they don't take a offensive lineman. But I'm just going down here. Like, what offensive lineman? Like, do you think they go all the way down to Green?
I think it's possible they select Green. They wouldn't be too happy if the board broke this way.
This is a nightmare for them.
This is like worst case scenario for them. But I think Green wouldn't be necessarily a bad pick. It'd just be a little rich in value. But
it would be disappointing. You know what I mean? It would be disappointing.
Agreed. But yeah.
So now we're to my Lions. Now, if I'm a Lions fan, if Dean's still on the board, I may attempt to do my first backflip ever in my life. You know what I mean? If this breaks this way and we're able to get who I have as the 15th best player in the draft at pick 32, I'm a happy man.
Yeah, and then also they'll be adding to that defense with who we have them taking in their second. Was it Walker?
Yeah, Walker.
Yeah, so Walker and Dean, those two guys those two guys in there. Dan Gamble's gonna be fist pumping. Yeah.
Okay, so let's take him. Let's take Dean here. So analyzing, grading your draft. This is always fun. All right. So I mean, look at. Oh, I'm not interested in that, Pia. But I mean, just kind of looking how the board broke. We did have some surprises. Wilson going at 4, little bit of a surprise. But that is a need.
Yeah, I also think with Wilson, it's possible. Like, who'd we have them taking 10? Is it Stingley, I believe?
We had them, yes.
Yeah, so if they took Stingley at 4 and Wilson at 10, I don't even think that's like out of the realm of possibility. So,
but the only thing is, if they do that, the Falcons could have their pick of wide receivers.
That's true, but they also might still like London because I know a lot of people are higher on London than we are.
Then we got a pair of cornerbacks being taken. NFL is such a copycat league. And like I said, I think this is going to be a wide receiver heavy first round. I think there's going to be a ton of wide receivers drafted. Going down, the kid from Purdue, George K. I'm not even going to pronounce that last name. That's a little high, but Minnesota's taking a position of need. Hamilton dropping to 13, is a little eye-opening. And then, in the back half of the first, I think Chargers fans would be ecstatic if they can get Jordan Davis at pick 17. I think that'd be a great pick for them. Yeah. Trying to figure out what the Saints are doing. That's going to be interesting. Steelers take a quarterback. Patriots always kind of reach, so Jermaine Johnson makes sense. But, we got some interesting picks here, and if the team to watch, I think, is the Bengals, because if it does get in this vicinity, like 25, and Linderbaum's still on the board, I think they can move up.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
And then Dean at 32 for the Lions. Like I said, if that happens, if Dean's at 32, oh my God, dude, I'm doing backflips, man. If Dean's at 32.
I think I think it's a good possibility that he can be there. I think he's an undersized linebacker. Linebacker position isn't valued super highly. So I could see him falling a little bit, especially because he struggled to take on run blocks against bigger guys. So, I could see him there at 32, and that would be a steal for your Lions.
That'd be awesome, man. That'd be awesome. Sterling, dude, we're going to have you come on after the NFL draft is over. Sure. You're going to have to break everything down. I know you got a vacate to Chicago plan soon. Hopefully you and I maybe be able to connect. Why don't you tell everyone where to find you on social media and everything?
All right. So haven't posted in a while, but it is Silver Star Sports on Instagram. So Silver Star and then _ and then sports. Finally fixing to graduate here in like a couple weeks. So that's going to free up a lot of time on my hand. I'm also leaving my current job in the restaurant industry, which is crazy hours. So that's just going to free up a lot of time for me. And I'll be able to get more content out. Looking forward to reacting to the NFL draft. I know this one is super unpredictable, so I'm excited to give my analysis and reactions when news does break. So
I can't wait. I am excited for this draft. Plus, we have all these wide receiver questions. And it's funny, the NFL, always going. You remember Final Four weekend, Tom Brady? Oh,
yeah, I'm coming back.
Hey, guys, I'm coming back.
Remember me? Yeah.
Remember coming back. So, Sterling, thanks for taking time out of your Thursday morning. Come on, talk a little NFL. I look forward to talking to you after the draft and, hearing your thoughts and everything, my man.
Yeah, I appreciate you having me on. This is always a highlight.
I look forward to having you on again, my man.